Hello everyone, my name's Steve. I'm the senior pastor at Stopsley Baptist Church, and this is our Thursday video, a short video just to touch base and to share something of what God's been saying to me in the last few days. I hope you're all well. I hope you're staying safe. I know these days are really tough. You're in my thoughts and in my prayers and in the thoughts and prayers of all of us at the church. I'm outside today, and one of the benefits of this time has been that I've had a lot of time to be outside in my garden. You can see my lovely oak tree in my neighbour's garden behind me. And I'm a bit of an amateur gardener. I'm not very good at gardening, but I like the idea of it, and I particularly like the idea of growing some food that we can eat. So about 10 days ago, a week ago, myself and my youngest son Jack spent some time in the garden, and we, just behind me here, planted some potatoes, some seed potatoes, and to my right I have a mini greenhouse thing in which we're trying to grow some courgettes and some runner beans and some sweet peppers, amongst other things. I love the idea or the time of planting. I love the activity of that, and watering and getting the seeds in the ground and smoothing the earth over the top and putting them away, and it's like putting one of your children to bed, I guess. And the difficult time I find with gardening is the time that I'm in right now. It's an anxious time because I've planted everything, and I come up here every morning to look to see whether something is happening, but at the moment there's not much going on, and I'm hoping that the seeds under the ground are germinating and something is stirring down there. It is a really curious thing. I was talking to Joe White about this week, that gardening involves putting something that is dying in the ground with the hope that in time and tending, that thing will burst into life and will grow into fruit that we will enjoy later. I've been reading a psalm this week that's really made me think about that as well. Psalm 126. Let me read one verse of it to you now. It's Psalm 126, and in that psalm, it's the time in which the exiles are coming back, and a time of hope, and a time of still further need for God to touch people. And in the middle of that psalm, it says these words: "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." I'll say that again: those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. It's really struck me that sowing is something we talk a lot about in the church, of trying to bring you good things, but we usually talk about it in good times and out of strategy and us trying to do things together. But this psalm says that you sow in tears, and that when you sow in tears, then joy comes in the harvest of that. And with that in mind, I wanted to share something, or I wanted to ask Ruth to share something that she wrote to me about last week.
Hi guys. So basically the other day, some friends and I were on Zoom, and we were just putting some time aside to worship and kind of just try and be in the presence of God. And we were singing Lord, Let Your Glory Fall. And there is a line in that says, "A sacrifice was made and then your fire came." And it really, I think God started to speak to me, and he was kind of saying, like, right now we're all in a time of sacrifice. Everyone is sacrificing things, even if we don't want to. But even more than that, we really have an opportunity right now to sacrifice for God in the way that song is talking about. So setting time aside to kind of get to know him more and fall back in love with him, and really try to hear from him. And I just feel like God really wanted to encourage us and say, if we use this time as a time of sacrifice, and we really try and, bless our relationship with God, then when we all come back together, it's going to be, then the fire will come, because the fire comes after the time of sacrifice. And so, I just wanted to encourage you. I think when we all come back together, this could be like a really powerful time to feel God's presence in our church. And so I look forward to that. I think God just wants to encourage us that after the time of sacrifice, the blessing comes. So, that is.
Thanks, Ruth. What an incredible thing to have been shared to you by a young woman who met with her friends, I think by Zoom, spent a little time praying, worshipping, and was listening to God. And I've been deeply challenged by her faith and her faithfulness in going to do that with the other girls. And the image itself is amazing, isn't it? That at this time, which is a time of sadness and a time, perhaps, as she said, of sacrifice, of not having things that we normally do, that there's an opportunity here to grow closer to God, to be attentive to him, to listen to him, to worship him, to reorientate ourselves around him, so that when things go back to normal, and they will go back to normal, when that happens, we will be better prepared to live for him, and we will discover new things in this season. Those who sow in tears, remember, will reap with songs of joy. And the end of that vision, that or word that Ruth had, was that when we come together to worship again, then there is an expectation that there will be blessing at that time. That will come as we all seek God at this time, and as we all put our faith in him. And whether at the moment you're a regular attender of our church, or you're watching this and you don't attend, I am looking forward to that time when we're all welcome, all invited back together again to celebrate the goodness of God at some time in that building all together, and bringing in with it all the things that we've learnt in this time. I better go now because the birds are getting a bit loud, but I just want to say that, of course, we're missing you. We would love to see you. Thank you so much to everybody who's putting effort in to connect, for the beacon leaders, for the quiz nights, for all the different videos that are going out, and all the different emails and texts and WhatsApp that are going back and forth. So important at this time that we keep in touch, we keep encouraging each other. As I said, social distancing is a funny phrase because it doesn't really mean social distancing, it means physical distancing. But socially, we need to draw close at this time. Can I remind you that coming up next on Sunday is our service, which is going to be streamed live at 10:30 in the morning. If you switch on at 10, just before 10:30, you'll get a countdown, and during that time, I think you can even comment on the service if you'd like to. I bet you've always wanted to be able to do that. And then just after service, around 11:15, you're all invited to virtual coffee, and that'll be on Zoom, and there'll be a code appearing as part of that. Please do try and attend if you can. It's so encouraging to see your faces. I'd just like to pray as I close. Loving God, thank you for the beginning of this new day. Thank you for the bird song I hear around me. Thank you for the sunshine on my face. Thank you that as we sow in this time of tears, we can in faith expect to reap with songs of joy. Would you fill us with faith and bless us at this time? In Jesus' name, amen. Stay safe. I better go and check the potatoes.